I'm just kind of facilitating, kind of trying to take them along lightly. Kind of what Darbo and JU did with me. Coming in, learning the playbook, and then having to do it in the heat of a moment. In big games like Michigan State is tough. But these are all learning experiences, and that's one thing I went through. I made a lot of mistakes as a freshman on the field, and I learned from those, and I contribute that to why I'm doing pretty well now. And JU really emphasized that learn from these mistakes, because once you make them, you can't make them again, and they're really good learning experiences.
What kind of advice are you giving to guys like Donovan and Kakawa in that process?
One thing I really preach is a really short memory, whether it's a great play or it's a bad play. One thing I tell them is just amnesia. Forget it. We'll totally forget about it, whether it's a great play or a bad play, because it's about the next play, and that's what the game is. It's always the next play. You can't sit and think about what you did before. You got to move on.
Is it the same or similar message for a game too, to not let one loss turn into two because you're still thinking about the state loss?
Yeah. You gotta forget what happened, but also learn from it. You can't just totally forget about it and just move on. You gotta go back, watch it, learn what you did wrong, and take those and correct those things so that it doesn't happen again the next week. Each game you have to approach it, just as important as the next one. Obviously, with it being a trophy game and a rivalry game, everyone's gonna have a little bit more butterflies, a little bit more anxiety, a little bit more excited for it. Which I definitely, I was really excited for it. But it's when people get outside their head and they're like, oh, this is the big one, is when they don't do well. So you really gotta balance it. You gotta treat it as if it's the next game, but it's also an important game. He's bounced back. His whole college career. He was a great player down in Houston. Some things happened down there, and he was forced to move on from there. And he's been waiting for a shot the past few years. So he's been battling his whole college career, and I like that because that gives him some edge. And I'm looking forward to getting this week in with him and seeing what he can do.